Impossible to follow real talent. Let's hear it again for our host, Jeff, and his hostess, of course. Thanks for having us once again. I love it. I love it. I'm so old, I have to look at my notes. I got a new one for you guys. Want a new one? I haven't tried this one yet. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So this is my new one. I'm going to start getting into prop comedy. And spent a lot of time making this puppet. There's the elephant in the room, right? There was an election.
Yeah.
There was an election.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about this? There was an election. And like for like the last week and a half, I've been walking around, and like every time I'm in public, I feel like this thing like I'm responsible for what happened. Like you guys, when you're older and white, you're like. You're single-handedly responsible for what happened, right? So here's my new character, El Obrero. Oh, hey, El Obrero, how you doing? Oh, I don't know, not too good lately. Well, why not? What happened? Well, it's people like you. You guys are the cause of what happened. Well, what exactly happened? Well, if you think about it, they told us to pack up and leave. Well, why is that? Well, we built your houses. The construction work is really good, and I like cleaning the hotel rooms, and I also like working in your favorite restaurant. Well, what do you mean? I can't go to my favorite restaurant anymore? I can't go to the Hampton Inn and get that room dirty? And I can't have my dream house built anymore? No, because I'm going back to Guatemala. They told me to go back. Well, I guess I'll go back with you then. Fine. Okay, that would... El Obrero. Thanks, El Obrero. Bye. All right. That was a new one. So I don't know if that worked. But when you're this age, I don't know. You can't remember stuff anymore. I was a little bit. I've been confused and conflicted about myself lately because I was aborted as a small child, so I should have been really angry about that. But then I grew up to be a liberal, so that's why I'm confused, right? And because of that, well, now I do this, like working second shift on a Saturday night, right? That's great. That's what you want to do at this age. Work the second shift, and my wife's like, "Oh, that's great. Thanks for supporting the family." She actually said that. No idea. There's absolutely no money in this. My son's like, "Thanks, Dad. Thanks again for spending less time with me." But it's great. It got me a sweet place on Lakeshore Drive. Perhaps you've seen it. It's on the off-ramp of Lawrence Avenue. It's an orange tent. Probably has a big flag on it, like USA. And you guys are thinking like, "Oh, how awful." No, it's free rent, you idiots. It gets a little chilly sometimes. But, I don't know, on to professional comedy jokes. I am a pro. Procrastinator. What do you really? Didn't even let me finish. But, it's like, I went to another thing, the guy said, well, what you're doing, it's kind of like being a stripper that's doing improv with themselves, and that's like a comedian, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. So that didn't work out. And then another thing, when this age, I started developing man boobs, so I'm happy about that. You guys want to see? So like, another good reason you don't have to see your wife anymore, you just get it off yourself. Oh God, I don't need anybody anymore. I got in trouble for porn, and I'm like, oh, I don't need that anymore, I just have this. So I'm doing that, start shaving my tits and stuff. That's awesome. I don't know, are we allowed to get raunchy? How bad? It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Actually, that's about as bad as it'll get. So now it's over the hill. It's just going to get better, isn't it great? But yeah, I did start dating again. Well, no, I didn't. Okay. But I do remember this one profile. Not that I would be looking at profiles, This woman, her activities are like, she was sort of you know how they're like sort of attractive, just like the guys, they're like not even, anyway, so like, you're sort of attractive, and then, so I'm gonna check this, all their activities are, volleyball, pickleball, sound familiar, and dining out with friends, and therapy. Therapy is now a legitimate activity, and you want to list therapy on your attribute. You might as well put it on your LinkedIn. You get in therapy because you're improving yourself. You're not. 20 years ago, you know this. 20, 30 years, therapy, run. Like you're not gonna. This person is nuts. Run, right? Because you guys are all old enough, and now it's. Now it's like, this person is trying to help themselves and improve themselves, right? And you might as well get dog therapy too, right? And I was referencing the dog. Jeff's gonna kick my ass because I'm looking at his voice. Yeah. So but then I'm thinking like, how do I follow that if I make a profile? I'd have to like do my activities. So what do? I get up at 11, I go to Walgreens because they have like heating, air conditioning in there, and it's nice. And then you go to the seasonal aisle, get a clown mask with a little rubber band on it. And you put it on, and like, you bring it up to the front, and the clerk's like, "Oh, is that like for your grandkids?" Like, no, it's for me. You have a problem with that? And take the clown mask over to your neighbor's bedroom window and look in to see what's going on, and then so that's one activity. And then I go to the forest preserve and in my car and probably like take a nap with the engine running and the window open. And you wake up and you stare at people for a while, hoping for an encounter. And then for my therapy, I would put. Well, I started non-alcoholic beer 3 hours ago, and that would be my therapy. But no, I've been married for over 20 years. I think it's like 24 years, maybe 24 years. I don't know. So,
is there anyone who could verify that?
Not me.
Yeah, but that's great. Like when you're first dating, you're like, your priorities are you think about it every 15 minutes. And so you're like sex, brunch, other stuff, Now, then like 6 months to a year down the road, you're like brunch, sex, other stuff, And then you keep going down and like 10 years later, it's like other stuff, gym, maybe see your spouse. And then 20, and then you're working on 20 years. 20 years, you wake up and your spouse is 3 rooms away and they're doing like a thing, they're doing something important. And then from 3, 4 rooms away, you hear something from upstairs. Did you get the tortilla chips? What? Did you get your laundry out of the dryer? What? And then you go back to bed, and that's your day. So that's great. That's how that works. But it's great. My wife's great. She got one of those DNA tests her friend gave to her, and she was going to prove, and she hates when I say this, but she had her hair colored red when she was, when we were dating, and I got fooled by it because I thought it was like, oh wow, it's a redhead, man. Right? And like, they're such an idiot because she had like dark eyebrows or whatever, and dark something else as well. And my buddy's like, you idiot, don't you know? Like, well, how do you know the color of her pubes? Like, you're her friend, right? Like, what? Anyway, so she was gonna make sure, she was gonna, 23andMe, she's 100% Irish. Irish people are super popular, by the way. They do this thing called St. Patrick's Day, and everybody loves them, and they just love Irish people. So she's like, I'm gonna be Irish, 100% Irish. Test comes back, and she's like a mutt of, European, Northern European, English, German, Polish, Estonian, I don't know. And then she's like, okay, whatever. You put that in the file, 13. And then she's like, well, why don't you do it? Well, you find out what you are. Well, I don't need to. Thank you. I was a citizen. I was not a citizen until just a few years ago. Because I'm from Germany, 100%. Know exactly what I am. Terrible, nothing. You don't want to advertise that. There's nothing that happened in like the early mid 20th century that was of any importance. When you're that you can be proud of. So, my test comes back and it would be something like 60% Neanderthal. And I can say that all day long because it's not a race. Neanderthal. And like 30% probably racist, idiot, a-hole, cop, gym teacher guy, and then 10% super gay Leatherman in somebody's basement, just like jacking off constantly. Because that's what people do, right? So But I don't know, what else is there? Marriage is fun. Let's see. Marriage, yeah.
Maybe skip that part.
No, what? I have no credibility with my family whatsoever, as you can tell by the people in the peanut gallery. I have no credibility with my family. My wife's like, oh, you're on your third beer already? And I'm like, well, it's already 9:30 a.m., right? So that's funny. Or like, did you leave the milk out? And of course it's oat milk, right? Did you leave the milk out? And I'm like, I don't know, it's maybe been out for a few minutes. Well, it's awfully warm. My left hand is really warm when I took it out, so. And then, I don't know. My son, this is true. This one is true. My wife only likes when I tell true stories. So my son's learning to drive, and he's doing the permit thing, and he smashed the car into the garage, into the lawnmower. He bent the lawnmower and the radio fire wagon. So, so then I'm like, oh, and I tell myself, I'm not going to get angry. And then I'm like, oh, and he did that. And so, this is no credibility. He gets out and he looks at it, and he goes, oh, that's not so bad. He looks at the cracked bumper and all the damage, and that's what they do. It's he's telling me that's not so bad, right? So that didn't come off that great. So I'm just going to try stuff on you people. But yeah, but there's another thing with the credibility. Like you're driving around and you have to drop off the wife at the Renegade Fair, and you have to drop off the kids somewhere else, and somebody farts in the car, right? And the windows. It's like, who did that? Open the windows. Open the window, right? And then you're dropping everybody off, and they're all happy, and then you're going home. The windows are and you cut one. And then you're thinking, like, everybody thinks it's gross when everybody else is around, but then when you're by yourself, it's like, not bad. Hang out in this. You did that under your blanket. You know it. You did that. You were thinking about what you ate. You had that burrito. And you all had the same cheap-ass burrito at the burrito place. Yeah, and so... But another thing I did on this age, I started on OnlyFans. Everybody wants to see that.